I rose in the morning with a headache. My agitation of the night before had vanished. It had been replaced by an oppressive perplexity and a certain, hitherto unknown sadness, exactly as though something had died in me. "What makes you look like a rabbit which has had half of its brain removed?" said Lucien, who happened to meet me. At breakfast I kept casting covert glances now at my father, now at my mother. He was calm, as usual. She, as usual, was secretly irritated. I waited to see whether my father would address me in a friendly way, as he sometimes did. But he did not even caress me with his cold, everyday affection. Shall I tell Zinaida all? I thought. For it makes no difference now. Everything is over between us. I went to her, but I not only did not tell her anything, I did not even get a chance to talk to her as I would have liked. The old princess's son, a cadet aged 12, had come from Petersburg to spend his vacation with her. Zinaida immediately confided her brother to me. "Here, my dear Volodya," said she called me so for the first time, "is a comrade for you. His name is Volodya also. Pray, like him. He's a wild little fellow still, but he has a good heart. Show him Neskuchny Park, walk with him, take him under your protection. You will do that, will you not? You, too, are such a good fellow." She laid both hands affectionately on my shoulder, and I was reduced to utter confusion. The arrival of that boy turned me into a boy. I stared in silence at the cadet, who riveted his eyes in corresponding silence on me. Zinaida burst out laughing and pushed us toward each other. "Come, embrace." Children, we embraced. "I'll take you into the garden if you wish, shall I?" I asked the cadet. "Certainly, sir," he replied, in a hoarse, genuine cadet voice. Again Zinaida indulged in a burst of laughter. I managed to notice that never before had she had such charming color in her face. The cadet and I went off together. In our garden stood an old swing. I seated him on the thin little board and began to swing him. He sat motionless in his new little uniform of thick cloth with broad gold galloon, and clung tightly to the ropes. "You had better unhook your collar," I said to him. "Never mind, sir. 7, we are used to it, sir," he said, and cleared his throat. He resembled his sister. His eyes were particularly suggestive of her. It was pleasant to me to be of service to him, and, at the same time, that aching pain kept quietly gnawing at my heart. Now I'm a child, I thought. But last night, I remembered where I had dropped my knife and found it. The cadet asked me to lend it to him, plucked a thick stalk of lovage, cut a whistle from it, and began to pipe. Othello piped also. But in the evening, on the other hand, how he did weep, that same Othello, over Zinaida's hands when, having sought him out in a corner of the garden, she asked him what made him so melancholy. My tears streamed with such violence that she was frightened. "What is the matter with you? What is the matter with you, Volodya?" she kept repeating, and seeing that I made her no reply, she took it into her head to kiss my wet cheek. But I turned away from her and whispered through my sobs, "I know everything. Why have you trifled with me? Why did you want my love? I am to blame toward you, Volodya," said Zinaida. I am very much to blame," she said, and clenched her hands. "How much evil, dark, sinful, there is in me. But I am not trifling with you now. I love you. You do not suspect why and how. But what is it you know?" What could I say to her? She stood before me and gazed at me, and I belonged to her wholly, from head to foot, as soon as she looked at me. A quarter of an hour later I was running a race with the cadet and Zinaida. I was not weeping, I was laughing, although my swollen eyelids dropped tears from laughing. On my neck, in place of a tie, was bound a ribbon of Zinaida's, and I shouted with joy when I succeeded in seizing her round the waist. She did with me whatsoever she would.